Hi all, today we are discussing about the variables in Java. Last session we had seen about the what is the data types and what is the Java. So if you see the screen, first we will see the definitions. A Java variable is a piece of memory that can be contain a data. A variable thus has a data type. Variables are typically used to store information with your Java program need to do its job. A variable is the name of a reserved area allocated in a memory. In other words, it is the name of the memory location. It is a combination of a vari plus able, which means it's a variable. Value can be changed. So, if you see this definition is belongs to the simple concept. If a is a variable, assume, and if the value is 10. So if this a variable is storing the 10 value, so if you take b is equal to 20, so if now we had given a value is storing the 10 value and b variable is storing the 20 value. If this a can be changed in future, like if a is equal to b plus a, in the sense it is storing the value of 10 plus 20. So now a is equal to 30. So now a variable is storing the value of 30. So here we had given a is equal to 10 and here we had it had changed to a is equal to 30. That's why it will be vary. So variable in the sense the value or any value where any variable value can be changed as per the requirement or as per we given the instructions. So I guess you all understand the basic concept. So we will see in depth in next slides and all. So coming to next slide, there are a types of variables will be there. There are three types of variables in Java. That is local variable, instance variable, and static variable. If you see in the figure, I had literally shown in a some diagrammatic things. So local and instance and static. So you had seen this one, right? So now we are in-depth definitions and the concept of the instance variable, local variable, and static variable. So if you see the definition of the local variable, a variable declared inside the body of the method is called the local variable. You can use the variable only within the method, and the other method in the class aren't even aware that the variable exists. A local variable cannot be defined with static keyword. Instance variable, a variable declared inside the class but outside the body of the method. It is called an instance variable. It is not declared as static. It is called an instance variable because its value is instance specific and it's not shared among instances. Coming to static variable, a variable that is declared as a static is called a static variable. It cannot be local. You can create a single copy of the static variable and share it among all the instances of the class. Memory allocation for the static variable happens only once when the class is loaded in the memory. So you had getting more confusion about what is the method, what is a class, and what is a constructor, what is a blocks and all. So in the next slide, see one by one in detail. So first we are seeing about the local variable. If you see this program, so leave about the syntaxes. I will just explain the program. So class A is the class name. So in a class name of A, we are given a values of int A. Data type is int and variable is A is equal to 10. This int A value is storing the 10. So why we had given int in the sense, last session we had seen about the integer is store the value of numbers. So next line we had seen the static int b is equal to 20. Static int b is equal to, this 20 value is storing in b, but this int b value is static. So this first line int a is equal to 10 is a instance variable, static int b is equal to 20 is a static variable, void int add, this is a method. So method in the sense one category of instruction or a one part, one block. So in that block we are executing some programs, and we are adding some instructions like that. So now void add, this void add method is using for, we are for adding purpose. If you see here, int c is equal to 30 comma d. So we had given the int c is equal to 30, and we hadn't mentioned any d variable value. So now we had a int a value and int b value and int c value. In this, a is a instance variable and static variable is a b, and c is a local variable. So why it is a local variable, again I will tell you. So if d is equal to a plus b plus c, now we had all the a value and b value and c value. Now we are taking this a value, instance value. So above the method, it is taking from, it is a is getting, and it is giving the value a is equal to 10 here. And if you see b static value also, it is entering into this method, and it is giving the value of b is equal to 20. And if you see c value, it is here only in inside the method. So inside this method we are using this one. So outside the method but inside the class, we are taking the a b values. So local variable in the sense, in a block or in a method, in a constructor, within within that method we are mentioning any variable, it is only taking that variables within the method. So this is a local variable. So d is equal to now a plus b plus c, in the sense 10 plus 20 plus c value 30. So it comes to 60. So system.output.println, this is a syntax to get the output. So here we had given the d value. D value in the sense a plus b plus c is equal to 60, as I shown here. So void multiple, we had given the one more method. Now for this method is using for the multiplication, and int e is equal to 40. We had given a int e variable value storing of 40, and f we hadn't given any value. So f is equal to a cross b cross c cross d cross e. Cross in the sense multiplication. If we had given this one in the sense, it won't take the d value. Why? Because it is inside the method. So the other method we had mentioned, collaborated and added this value is d, so it cannot be taken into this method. So here it will throw an error. If you remove that a d, and if you multiply like a b c and e, you will get a 8000 solution. That's why I mentioned this one as a red. System.output.println, if you take a output of the e, you will get a value of a cross b cross c cross e. So not leave about the d, that's why I mentioned as a red color. So I guess you had understand the concept. If the variable within the class is there, so in a class multiple methods will be there, but within the class, in the starting or anywhere, it will be there. In the sense, it is a, if it is not mentioning any static, in the sense it is an instance variable. If it is mentioning any static, in the sense it is a must and shouldly static variable. If that variable is mentioning like int a b or anything within a method, that should be a local variable. So I hope you understand. Now we will see the concept. So inside the method, constructor or a blocks, as I said, use inside methods, constructor or block, not from the outside, inside the method only. So not from the outside. If you see, if you had taken here, in the sense it is not a local variable. If you can take from the method, inside the method only, you will get to know that this is a local variable. If you see, when variables are assigned, in the sense when method or constructor or a block will be there we can assign any variable. Get executed variables allowed memory. If any method or constructor or block is there we need to execute some variables. As I said, it will be used there. When gets executed, variables can be destroyed. Like if executed, it will be changing, then it will be destroyed. So stored memory, where it will be stored? It will be stored in a stack memory. Default values, in the sense it does not have any default value, should be provided before use. Like if a is equal, as you see here, if we hadn't given any value to the d and any value to the f, we hadn't given any value, but after doing multiplication or addition or any mathematical thing, we had get that value. So like that we can able to get that value. So before assigning or before any without giving value, it won't take any default, it won't take any value, it will be a default. And if you see, access specifiers cannot be used within local variables. It can not be used with the local variables, access specifiers. So if we had as I shown, so you had a clear about the local variables, and we will see instance variables. So instance variable, as I said, out of the method and within a class. So if you see here, this is a class. So from here to here, this is a complete class starting to ending. So here this is the one method. If you see, in the sense this is the one method and this is a one more method. So if these values, if you see this one, if these values can be taken from any method, so any method you can able to take. So that's the concept of the instance variable. As I said, within a method will be there, in the sense it is a local variable. So within a class is there, in the sense it is a instance variable. Yes, correct. So now we had seen about these things. So we will see about the definition part. So concept, inside the class and outside method, constructor or a block, as we discussed now. So inside all methods, blocks and constructor within a class, not included the static directly. So if you are not including any static value, but we are mentioning any variable inside the class, it is nothing but instance variable. It's a blind symbol. When variables are assigned, when object is created, variables allocated, objects get destroyed, variables releases memory. When objects is created, variables allocated, objects get destroyed, variables releases memory. So in the sense, if any value is there, it will be modified and it will destroy the old value and it will change the new value. So stored memory, where it will be stored? Heap memory. It is stored in a heap memory. Default values, they have default values like int is equal to 0, boolean is equal to false, objects is equal to none. If you see local variables, they don't have any default values. If you see instance variable, it has a default value. If any value is giving, it is a int is equal to 0, it is taken as 0, boolean is equal to false, and object is equal to null. So where it can be accessed, it can be used. So it can be called directly. We can call this value, like if we int a is equal to b 10, so we can call this value directly here. So if we can use this static method, statically also we can use. So if you see here, a is equal to object is equal to new a. So this is the variable we are creating. This is a variable name. We are creating new variable of a. So this is a variable name variable, and this representing with object is equal to new variable a of method constructor. Object obj is equal to, here j need to add, obj dot a, in the sense this object of a. So we can get this one. So by the directly we can call from this, or else by using this method also we can call the instance variable. So I guess you had some clear about the this instance variable also. So discussing about the static variable. Static variable, blindly we can see in this program, this that had been mentioned static, it will be static variable. It's a blind symbol. If you see in this program, this one, but where and all it can be called and where and all it won't be called, you can get in a definition. With static keyword in a class, but outside a method or a constructor or a block. With static keyword, it will be having outside the method, then only inside the class with outside the method, then it will be with, by mentioning the static, it will be called as a static variable use. Similar to instance variable, therefore inside as a method constructors are a block including static. So this similar to the instance variable, as I said, outside the method and within the class. So when variables are assigned, when we run a program and the class file is loaded, variables allocated. When the class file get unloaded, variables get destroyed. So when you executed a program, then only it will be storing the value, and it will be backend, it will do this thing. Stored memory. Stored memory, where it will be stored in the sense non-heap memory or a static memory. So default values similar to instance values, in the sense int is equal to 0, boolean value is a false, like that it will be taking the default values, except local variables. Remaining instance and static variables will be taking the default values. Access specifiers can be used. How to use? So it can be directly called by directly, or by using the class name, by using the object reference, as I said in the last, obj.a. So we can call like that. So we can use that one. If you see the static variable also, you had some clarity about this thing. So if we see next slide, so now I need to show a program. So this program we had seen previously, and get somewhat clarity. For your sake, I am showing one more program to get some more idea about it. So if you see this one, we had taken a class name as Libra. So in this class Libra, we had given a int a is equal to 10. Int a is equal to 10, in the sense it is a instance variable. If a static int b is equal to 20, it is a this is an instant variable, this is a static variable, because it had been mentioned by the static. So public static void main string args, we had given this syntax. Next, if you see here, Libra obj is equal to new Libra. So as we said, seen in a local variable or a instance variable, there instance variable we had seen object reference, right? So Libra is a name of the variable, and this is a object is a reference. New, we had creating this variable system.output.println object. So object1 is equal object1 dot a. If you see in this one, object1 dot b, this was in the sense, if you this system.output.println will be used to give the output. So now here what we need to get the output, in the sense, if a value is 10, system.output.println, in this thing we are calling the a value, it will come as a 10. Here our system.output.println obj dot ob1 dot b, in the sense it will come under 20 value. So now we are doing the some modification. If obj dot a is equal to 1000 and ob1 b is equal to 2000, if you given these values, so a value and b value will be changed. So now what it will get, in the sense, if system.output.println ob1 dot a, you will get a value of 1000. Why? Because here a value had been, if you see, this is a one variable. If a value it had stored as a 10, so by this we are giving as, we are removing 10 and giving the value of 1000. So now it had been stored like a 1000, then it will come as a 2000. So now as the same thing, it b value also it will be changed 20 to 2000. So as I said, this a value and b value will be changed. Now if this one a object 1 dot a is equal to, it will come 1000, object 1 b is equal to, we will get as a 2000. So here it will be having somewhat clear. Now we will see the main one. So here again we had changed, like object dot 2, we had created one more object, libra object 2 is equal to new object libra. Okay, by this we are modifying. So first method, first first object we are getting the value, we had modified value and we will get this one. So now here we are changing again. So what we are changing, we will see. So if the we are getting the system.output.println ob2, so second object to reference to value of a. So second reference at the value of a, in the sense, this is again, if the object is created newly, it will take the default value. So system.output.println object.b. So as I said, it will take the default value, but object.b will take as a 2000. Why? Because it is a static value. So I will explain that one also. If a is equal to any value, if this one is a object 1, okay, object 1, and this is a object 2. So when a is equal to 10, will be 1000 will be there, and it had been changed to 10, default one as a 10. So it had get the 10 value. But if the static variable, in the sense, it won't store in a this object, it will be having a different storage one. So it had been stored this static variable b is equal to 2000. Why? Because on the starting it had a is equal to 10, after that it had changed to 1000. Again the object 2, it had taken as a default first value. So now for object, it is a instance variable. Now coming to static variable, 20 had been changed to 2000. After changing 2000, it won't take again the default value. Static value, if you change once, that value will be default the same value if you are accessing from anywhere. Okay, so as per this, see, simple logic, if we are direct, we had created two variables, and that two variables we are fetched from the here by object, creating an object. So here again we had modified, in that we had given the other values to the same variables, and we had get the value that given variable values. So after that we had created a one more, here we had created one more object, and after that we had given a, we had fetched the values. First default value came from the this one. So first we had given the value, default value it came. For static only it had given, it had came from this. So what is the latest update value of the b is a 2000, that's why it came for the 2000. I hope you all understand this basic concepts and all. So the simple logic regarding this one is instance variable, it is inside the class will be there, so outside the method or a block or a constructor. If you see, this is a class and this is the method inside the class, in the sense starting to ending, in between it will be there. Without mentioning any static is called a instance variable. If with mentioning the instant static, it is a static variable. In mentioning any variable within a method or a constructor or a block is a local variable. I hope you all understand these concepts. Further we will see identifiers and all. If you had any doubts regarding the int data types and all, I am leaving the tag above, you can go through it. So thank you for this day. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.